On March 9, 2025, it was reported that Keisha Kamika has been ousted as Director of Corruption Prosecution at Integrity Commission. Could this be because of her failure to prosecute Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, on 2 separate occasions for illicit enrichment, as I reported in September 2024 in 2 previous videos entitled Keisha Kamika, Director of Corruption Prosecution? Who is she? And Andrew Holness is above the law, posted on September 12 and 13, 2024. Let's revisit those videos. You never see smoke without fire. Let's dive in and revisit these 2 videos. The Integrity Commission is undergoing another leadership overhaul following the non-renewal of Keisha Kamika's 3-year term as Director of Corruption Prosecution. Her departure, confirmed by Chairman Retired Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick, comes amid internal pressure over her high-profile decisions, including opting not to charge Prime Minister Andrew Holness despite 2 prosecutorial recommendations. Roneif Lawrence now serves as acting director, while the Commission publicly advertises the vacancy and prepares to name a permanent successor. Meanwhile, other senior departures and upcoming contract expirations signal further changes ahead.
Hello, I'm Jovan Johnson. The Integrity Commission's Director of Corruption Prosecutions, Keisha Kamika, has ruled out criminal charges against Prime Minister Andrew Holness for allegedly making false income declarations. She cited insufficient evidence regarding the non-disclosure of 4 bank accounts in his asset filings.
Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness is being described as the Caribbean Teflon Don due to multiple accusations failing to lead to charges. It highlights 2 key investigations. 1. Westcon Construction Limited scandal. In February 2023, Holness was accused of a conflict of interest in awarding government contracts to a business associates company. Despite a detailed report, the Director of Corruption Prosecution, Keisha Kamika, ruled there was insufficient evidence for criminal charges. 2. Omission of 4 bank accounts. In September 2024, Holness was flagged for not disclosing 4 bank accounts linked to his family and a former manager, holding a combined $384,000. Kamika again ruled against prosecution, citing insufficient evidence and accepting Holness's explanation that the omission was unintentional. Both cases suggest a pattern where accusations against Holness, though serious, do not result in charges. The article questions whether these recurring dismissals indicate Holness's political invulnerability. Is Prime Minister Andrew Holness the Caribbean Teflon Don? Despite numerous allegations of misconduct, Jamaica's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has repeatedly emerged unscathed, earning comparisons to the infamous Teflon Don, with accusations seemingly failing to stick. The first significant allegation was dismissed on February 13, 2023, by the Director of Corruption Prosecution, Keisha Kamika. This involved the Westcon Construction Limited scandal, where Holness was accused of a conflict of interest for allegedly influencing the awarding of millions in government contracts to a business associate. The investigation, led by Director of Investigations Kevon Stevenson, resulted in a 107-page report implicating the Prime Minister. However, Kamika ruled that there was insufficient evidence to support criminal charges, stating that no criminal charges can be laid, as additional evidence failed to contradict Holness's defense. In the same ruling, Kamika addressed a breach of the then Contractor General's Act, the Ministry of Education, the National Works Agency, and the Social Development Commission had failed to submit quarterly reports of contracts awarded to Westcon Construction. Although evidence was found to support this charge, Kamika determined that the delay in prosecuting would make it difficult to resist claims of abuse of process. A separate allegation involved Dr. Dwayne Vernon, head of the Social Development Commission, who was accused of making a false statement to the Contractor General. Again, Kamika ruled that the evidence was insufficient to bring charges. Fast forward to September 10, 2024, and another investigation by the Integrity Commission (IC) flagged Holness for omitting 4 bank accounts holding $384,000 from his statutory declarations. The accounts were tied to his parents and a former constituency office manager. Director of Investigations Stevenson recommended charging the Prime Minister for failing to declare the funds. Holness, however, claimed ignorance, explaining that his name had only been added to the accounts as an emergency contact, and he had no direct involvement in them. Prince Kamika, reviewing the case, ruled again that the evidence was insufficient to support criminal charges. She highlighted that Holness's explanations seemed credible and intentional omission was not apparent. Citing legal precedent, she concluded that the prosecution would struggle to prove Holness's intent to deceive. Furthermore, an international forensic investigator hired by the IC found no illegal activity in Holness's financial dealings after a 6-month review. This investigation also looked into the Prime Minister's purchase of shares from a financial institution, which was deemed lawful. Despite these allegations, Holness's statutory declarations remain uncertified by the IC as the investigation continues. Yet, the consistent rulings in his favor raise questions about whether the accusations simply lack merit, or whether the Teflon Don comparison is more fitting than we realize. What are your thoughts? Is there a pattern of unjust accusations, or is Holness just too well protected? After all, Holness has a well-placed current and former DPP on call. Keisha Prince Kamika. Keisha Prince Kamika, currently the Director of Corruption Prosecution, has built a distinguished career in law and public service. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in Literatures in English, followed by a Bachelor of Laws from the University of the West Indies, UWI Cave Hill campus. After completing her legal studies at Norman Manley Law School, she was called to the bar in November 2006. Prince Kamika began her legal journey as a clerk of courts for the parish of St. Mary. In 2008, she transitioned to the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODP, where she dedicated 11 years of service. Rising through the ranks, she became Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, under the leadership of former DP Paula Llewellyn. During her tenure, she headed multiple units, including the Corruption Prevention and Coroner's Matters Unit. In September 2024, she was appointed as Director of Corruption Prosecution by the Integrity Commission. This followed the retirement of Dirk Harrison, who had previously acted in the role on an interim basis. Prince Kamika's appointment is intended to strengthen the Commission's efforts in fulfilling its mandate of prosecuting corruption-related offences. Key facts about Keisha Prince Kamika. Earned a Bachelor of Laws from UWI Cave Hill. Holds a Certificate of Legal Education from Norman Manley Law School. Called to the bar in November 2006. Served in the ODP for 11 years. Led the Corruption Prevention and Coroner's Matters units at the OTPP. The Integrity Commission announced her appointment as Director of Corruption Prosecution, seconded from the ODP for 6 months. Although it is unclear if she will be permanently appointed after this period, her expertise is expected to contribute significantly to the Commission's work. She was granted her appointment by Governor-General Sir Patrick Allen. The Commission has not indicated any plans for her future post-secondment. The Corruption Prosecution Division, under Prince Kamika's leadership, is expected to fully execute its mandate. Her appointment followed concerns regarding the vacancy in the role of Director of Corruption Prosecution after Harrison's departure. Prince Kamika's impact on major cases. First charge dismissed against Prime Minister Andrew Holness, February 13, 2023. Keisha Prince Kamika ruled that no charges would be brought against Prime Minister Andrew Holness in the Westcon Construction Limited scandal. Investigations suggested that Holness may have been involved in awarding government contracts to an associates company. However, despite sufficient evidence to raise charges, she concluded that the prosecution would likely struggle to avoid an abuse of process due to undue delay in the case. Second charge dismissed against Prime Minister Andrew Holness, September 10, 2024, in a separate matter involving Holness's omission of 4 bank accounts during an Integrity Commission investigation. Prince Kamika once again dismissed charges. Although Investigations Director Kevon Stevenson recommended charges for false declarations, Prince Kamika determined that there wasn't enough evidence to establish intent. She argued that Holness's omission did not appear intentional and backed her ruling with legal precedents, citing Regina v. Jones and Wicker. Analysis. Keisha Prince Kamika's role as Director of Corruption Prosecution places her at the forefront of Jamaica's fight against corruption. Her legal acumen, developed through her extensive experience in the OTPP, has already been tested in high-profile cases, notably those involving Prime Minister Andrew Holness, Please leave your comment below, it will be interesting to hear what your thoughts are. Subscribe to Jamaica Diaspora Diaries for more diaspora news that affects us all. Like, share, subscribe and comment so you will be notified when we drop new content. Thank you.